Hey guys, and welcome to the Real DDP blog. Today it is Wrasslin Wednesdays, and if you are picking this video up off of YouTube, or if you subscribe to YouTube, you might want to go to www.therealdddp.com. Ideally, what you should do is just subscribe there. This way, you'll get this video sent to you, plus whatever videos I'm talking about. And on Wrasslin Wednesdays, I very rarely just talk about something. I normally talk about what's below in the video footage and the pictures. And in this footage here, I'm going to actually have my first demo reel. My first demo reel, before there was a Diamond Dallas page, there was this reel. And it was just a figment of my imagination. If you didn't catch last Wednesdays, go to the Real DDP, look up last Wednesdays, because that's where it all started. Off I guess it was called a show called the Party News Network, and a buddy of mine named Kevin Dunn actually did the story on me, and that's what led to this whole idea that there could ever be a Diamond Dallas page. And where I left everybody off there was about to talk about this demo reel that I put together and what happened after I put it together. So let me just take you back a little bit. I digress. To where Smitty, I was on Smitty's Sports Talk radio show, and he had brought me in as a manager of Champions, supposedly, to be on a show with Captain Lou Albano, and then again I did it again with Sergeant Slaughter. So no one knows it's radio, you know. So I got to play the part of Diamond Dallas Page and have fun with it. And Smitty suggested that I talk to, send a reel to the AWA. He had a friend named Wrasslin who also helped boxers and wrestlers get their start. So I sent the tape up to him. First of all, I had to make it. After I talked to Smitty, I hooked up with a buddy of mine. I grabbed a couple of guys. One guy called the Iceman, another guy called Big Bad John, another guy called Ted E. Bear. He was a midget. And I brought him in with some of the Diamond Dolls. And actually, one of those Diamond Dolls made it to the wrestling show. You might catch it on AWA, ESPN Classics. She was one of the dolls who actually in this. Her name is Tanya. What I did was I put together this reel, not really knowing, that what storylines were. I just made storylines up around this guy or that guy, and I thought back then, you'd watch some guys go up there and cut a promo. Like Ric Flair could cut a promo for 10 minutes, 20, probably an hour. Different guys could cut promos for different lengths of time. But I thought to myself, man, well, that guy they must have cue cards. Nobody can remember all that stuff. Well, that's wrong, because there are no cue cards. There might be today. I don't think so, though. But the bottom line is back then I had them stick up some cards behind them, because I wasn't doing one video in a day. I was doing 6 of them. And I had all these different storylines for different people, so I had to keep everything straight. So I just stuck some notes up on the cue card. So as I was talking, I got my sunglasses on. You can't tell if I'm looking at the cue card, I'm looking at the girl, I'm looking at the guy. I'm on a rant and I'm rambling. The energy is amazing. The hairdo. The clothes. By the way, all those clothes, they were Paige J's clothes. I wore those clothes all the time. I guess I was 20, was it 31? I think I was 31 when I made these tapes, yeah. Because I got my break at 31 and a half years old in the AWA. But what happened to that was I ended up making that videotape, and you'll get to see it below with Captain Jack. What a great pair of pipes he had on him, man. He was a great radio DJ up in New Jersey who also did some color commentating, actually did play-by-play, and I brought him in to be the announcer in the Gene Okerlund spot, and he was great. And he gave, some credibility to it. And then the guys, they all dressed in outfits. Everybody was in costume, So I sent this tape to the AWA, and they called me back 2 weeks later. And it was Rob Wrasslin on the phone. And he was like, hey, DDP, Diamond Dallas Page. I'm like, who's this? He goes, Rob Wrasslin from the AWA. And I thought it was my buddy Smokey, so I was like, fuck you. And I hung up on him. I'd done that a couple times in the beginning because I didn't believe, And he called me back, and he's like, Diamond, don't hang up with me again unless you don't want to be talking to me. This is Rob Wrasslin from the AWA. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. He's like, we really like your tape. But, you know, I've showed it to a couple of the guys here, and no one's really heard of you. You know, they don't know, where are you working? And I'm like, we got a slight problem here. He's like, what do you mean? I go, none of those guys can wrestle. He goes, what? Well, what'd you send us the tape for? I go, well, they want to learn how to wrestle. I mean, see, back then it was like almost impossible to find out how you become a wrestler unless you were, you know, you had some of your family in it. So, long story short, he said, well, don't call us, we'll call you. And then 2 weeks later, Greg Gagne called me back. And everything happens for a reason, right? Around that time, Paulie Dangerously, who's probably one of the best talkers ever, and managers, he left the AWA and went to the NWA to manage the Midnight Express there. And he was on fire there, but that left a big void there in the AWA. So they needed some young, fresh face, and they didn't know I was 6'4", because when I did my interviews, my legs are totally spread out so that I could get myself lower. Same thing I did in the AWA. But what happened was they wanted some fresh look with crazy clothes and the girls, so Greg Gagne called me up. He said, listen, Diamond, here's what we're going to do. I want to bring you in, bring all those wild clothes you've got, and one or two of those hot-looking babes, and we'll give you a tryout. If we like you, we'll keep you. And if not, well, then you got to try out. And I was like, okay. They sent me a ticket, the rest, and a hotel room they gave me. But after that, you know, I paid for everything else. And matter of fact, they didn't send me anything. I had to fly myself out for that one. That's right. They were just, you get here, we'll give you a tryout. Bottom line is, I looked at this as a trip to Vegas. It was a hell of a deal. And if you're watching the AWA Classics, that's how this all started. How I got the gig is off the video that is below this video. And my buddy Dylan edited it, because it was like 6 different long videos. He edited it down to about 4 minutes, and it's classic shit. So check it out. Tell me what you think. It'll be interesting either way. Also, you'll see a picture of my pink Cadillac with a couple of the Diamond Dolls on a fuchsia badass Harley that I had back in the day. I put that picture up there, and I'm also putting up the where is it? This is the original card of me. I'm going to pop that up there. This is when I first tried to wrestle when I was like 22 years old, and it didn't really work out. And I was the big 250-pound handsome Dallas Page. You know, calling myself Handsome Dallas Page is a tribute to Handsome Jimmy Valiant, who was my hero as a kid, not realizing I was ripping his gimmick off at the time. But I'm gonna put that card up there. I'm gonna put the picture up there of me and the Diamond Dolls, and check it out, see what you think. Also want to let you guys know that if you're in Atlanta this weekend, and if you're going to the Promo Last event, let me pull it up here so I can see exactly, get a little quick 411 on that. It is the Atlanta Reunion Pro Wrestling Fan Fest. Kim will be there. Booker T will be there. The Fink will be there. Lex Luger will be there. Ted DiBiase, Ron Simmons, Chief J Strongbow. The Raven will be there. The Cat, Glacier, Sullivan, Mr. Wonderful. Oh, yeah. Paul Orndorff will be there. Bill DeMott, and Nick Patrick, the wrestling referee, the bad referee back in the NWO days. Easy for me to say, NWO days. He was that NWO referee. He was also the son of a mentor and very good friend of mine, Jody Hamilton. Great guy. So it's going to be a good little turnout there. We're also going to be doing YRG there, so it'll be pretty cool. I'm going to do DDP's YRG, Inspiration Meets Perspiration. It'll be a little inspirational talk, and then I'll do a little Q&A, and then the yoga doc's going to be there with me, and then we're going to take some people through some YRG. You don't have to be a part of the workout to be a part of the Inspiration Meets Perspiration, but if you wanted to, I'd love to do it, because anyone at any level can do it. And that's all I got. Oh, yeah, this Thursday, Radio Roundtable, YRG Radio Roundtable. Go to YRG, go to The Real DDP and check it out. I'll be on there on YRG Radio. We'll have Arthur Borman this week. And that's all I'm trying to fit everything under 10 minutes. I know this thing go 11, but I'm not risking it. See ya.